was born in Howrah, and Dad was a farmer out at Hangai, which is about 7 miles, I guess, out of Howrah. And of course, being on a farm, the farmer's boy, you get out and you do the, get out and help on the farm. I got better pay offered to me at Hostess Kitchens. So I went into Hostess Kitchens and was working there for years, making kitchens. That was Smith and Clark's. I left there and I went to Hawkins Construction, and I was working there for many, many years. And I got laid off from Hawkins, got made redundant. And Des Bell happened to ring up, and he worked for Hawkins for a while, and he had a business in Tokoroa. And he came back to Hamilton and was working on his own. So I went building, And so I worked with him for a while to help him out on a job because he'd heard I wasn't working. And we did a lot of work for kindergartens and play centres and things like that. Then his work dried up and I was sort of made redundant again, but I didn't worry about a job. I was old enough to retire. And then Des picked up a job at the Hillcrest High School, and I went and helped them there, and we were there for 6-7 years doing maintenance on the school. And then Des wanted to retire, so he gave up, so I gave up and I retired as well. I started doing wood turning, well, really in the 60s, but I'd done my first wood turning in 1956, 57, somewhere around about that at school. I made a trowel and I had to put a handle on it, so we had to turn this handle. And I bought my first lathe, which was a Myford ML8, I think around 1960. And I've just progressed from there, and joining the club, I've learned a heck of a lot, especially from Wolf Devlin. Jim Pope also taught me a few things, mostly self-taught, of course. I did go to Fred Irvine's class once, and I was teaching for at least 10 years, Jim Pope and I. It was in about 1960 something I started making them. My sister-in-law was tied up in the 60s with the kindergartens and play centres with her 2 girls. The girls wanted a cot for their dolls, so I made them a cot. And then the play centres wanted this and wanted that and wanted everything else. So I started making the toys for them and made some more for other people, and it's just slowly built up. And I've altered things, but now I've redesigned a lot of things, and I've made it for stock size timbers, so all I do is got to cut it off rather than measure up and cut, it's just given me something to do, otherwise I'd go mad. Most of my stuff is word of mouth. We've got a shop in Te Awamutu, which has been there for now a couple of years, and they approached me to sell the stuff. Diane knows the lady that owned it, and I got the purple patch in town, which we sell through, so that's about all I got to do with the toys. Well, I like doing the turning, but as I say, I like to see the kids light up when they see the toys. And sometimes they'll come in, a little fellow will come in with a lady, I'll give them something. And boy, they think it's Christmas. They really love it. They grin, they laugh, they do whatever. And then they sort of creep around mum's legs and, you know, and I'm a bit that way. I'll just give things, you know, okay, it's not a big item, but yeah, love it. They just love it. Matai is good, but it's very bland, but it is good. The Rimu is good because it's got good grain if you can get a good heart piece of Rimu, but if you can get a good bit of kauri from out of the swamp, that is also good. I've got quite a bit there now. Tawa is very nice, good to turn, and it'll take stain, it'll take anything, tawa. And that is quite good to work, but on its own, again, is a little bit bland. But yeah, if it's got good grain, I'll use it. And I like turning most of the souvenir things out, or making the souvenir things out of native timbers. I was on the committee for 5, probably 6 years, I think. And then I did my 2 years as president. That was in the, that must have been in the 80s. And I've been involved in quite a few things within the club. We've had barbecues in the past, and I've been involved in those. I've been involved in those wig stands. I did a few over the lockdown, and I took them in there. And we used to make little bowls and fill them with lollies, and give them to the Salvation Army for the, you know, the children in the thing, and they used to come around and collect them. That was something I think probably would be special, because it was doing something for somebody else or some organisation or something. We did when that was it the earthquake in Christchurch? I think that's when it was. We made a whole lot of egg cups, and because it was over Easter, or it was around Easter, and we put Easter eggs in them, and we bundled them all up and sent them down to Christchurch, and for them to distribute out for the kids for something special for Easter, and we did that as a club. I think it's just the involvement of being with friends or people that you make friends. I've made a lot of friends through the club. The only thing is, I said to Diane, the more people are doing it, less chance I've got of selling the stuff. Because there's more people doing it, and they're giving to their friends and giving to but no, go ahead and do it. It gets you out of the house, it makes your brain active, because you've got to think what you're doing, and gets out from under mum's feet. Yeah, that's, you know, get in and do it as a hobby. But get tuition from somebody that can do it. Don't just go out and start like I did. It was hard yakka. Well, if it comes to that, I'm proud of whatever I can make. I take care to what I make. I sand it, you know, properly, go from grade to grade to grade of sandpaper, and I take pride in what I do, especially on the turning. I haven't really made anything extraordinary. I just make sort of routine things, and I can't see the point in making something to sit it on a shelf and leave it there unless it is really something special. I like to make things that can be used. Well, my other hobby, which I've been doing since I've been knee-high to a grasshopper, is collecting model cars, trucks and tractors, and some I've got in there I've had since I was about 4 years old. The dinky toys, I was in hospital when I was 4, I think, and apparently the coffin was measured up. I wasn't supposed to have lived. So Mum and Dad used to buy these things and bring in to the hospital and give them to me. And I've kept them, obviously. And then, of course, it's just growing, and that's just half of them in there. I've got about 1,000, probably 1,100 of them all up. These are made in China. Universal Hobbies make them. These are made in China, but they're corgi from England. That's a Techno, I think, that one, made in Denmark. These are Dinky, made in England. That one is made in Japan as well. Not sure what that maker that one is. There's another truck I'm working on. I've just got to get something to put on there as a cable, and that's a cable truck.
Tipping trucks and stock.
There's tipping trucks. That's a high side one. Got low sides on it, and I put that there to. There's the ram, and then there's a dump truck. There's a cattle truck, and I've got a door at the back for the. There's a cage too I put on there, and I put dowels down it, and I also have an open cage like that with dowels down it. A filled one and an open one. Here's all the peppers and salts. I got these boxes made for them. There's pepper and salt cream can, and I've got stamps which I stamp on there to what the timber is, New Zealand tawa, and that's just a toothpick holder. That's tawa, saying that's a good timber. Look at it. But it hasn't, it's bland, but it's a beautiful timber to work with. And I've got all these ones here ready to put the insert in, and then there's 3 there, all made out of the same piece of timber. And I got pens, yeah. That one's rarer. Yeah. Oh, I make a few tea light candle holders. All different timbers joined together, laminated. It's wearer. They just a circle cut like that, and I'll put the tea light candle holders in them. And there's your cream can that I've been making these for years. I've sold heaps of them. That one is turned on the lathe. I put it on the lathe, but I glue a piece, it's made square,
Yes.
cut all that out, glue a piece on there with paper, and when it's turned, or you cut all that out as well, and you cut out for you. And when it's turned, you just take the bottom off and sand it. There's 3 different woods there, or it's laminated, 3 different things. Yeah, they've got different things on them now. I put a few things on to spruce them up and make them look a little different. Kids can do what they like, you know, they could have that as a gun or just an aerial or whatever. I just make the aeroplanes up however I want to. Put different things on them. They could be guns, but fuel tanks or anything. And that one I've put 2 tails on him. Oh, here's the Jeep. A Jeep, and they've got a trailer as well. Got a bunch of fences up there. I've only just put them out to market now. They hook together like that, and then there's 4 different sizes, and they hook together like that to form a fence for the cows and whatever have you. Yeah. Racing cars or intermediate cars. And I had a cutting out a car, and that was an offcut out of the car that I was making. And I looked at it and I looked at it and stuck some big wheels and some little wheels on it, and it's a dragster. That was just an offcut of something, and so I made that up. And then I have the small cars, which I showed you the other day. That one is a little tractor, and then there's other small cars, and there's about 20 shapes or more of these. What else is there? Oh, that's probably about it.